Hello, welcome to Introducing Computers Podcast 2. In this episode, we describe the components that make up a computer. Let's get started. A computer is made up of various physical pieces, which we call hardware. These pieces work together to allow the computer to perform tasks like browsing the internet, playing games, or writing documents. At the heart of any computer is its central processing unit, CPU, and its random access memory, RAM. You can think of these two components as the brain and the short-term memory of the computer. Without them, the computer wouldn't be able to do anything at all. Let's start by talking about the central processing unit, CPU. The CPU, often just called the processor, is where all the important calculations and decisions are made. It can be broken down into a few key parts. The arithmetic and logic unit, ALU, this part of the CPU does all the maths and logical operations. Whether it's adding numbers or comparing values, the ALU handles it. The control unit, CU for short, is like a traffic controller. It directs the operations of the CPU, telling the ALU when to perform tasks and managing the flow of data within the computer. The registers, these are tiny storage spaces inside the CPU that hold data temporarily while the CPU works with it. There are several important registers, each with a specific job. The memory address register, MAR, this holds the address of the data that the CPU needs from the RAM. It's like writing down the shelf number of a book you want to find in a library. The memory data register, MDR, this is where the actual data from that address is temporarily stored after it's fetched from RAM. Continuing with the library example, if the MAR is the shelf number, the MDR would be the book you've taken from that shelf. Program counter, PC, this keeps track of which point the CPU has reached within its set of instructions. It points to the next instruction the CPU needs to execute. Think of it as a bookmark in a book, showing where you've left off. The accumulator, this stores intermediate results of calculations performed by the ALU. For example, if the CPU is adding several numbers together, the accumulator might hold the running total until the calculation is finished. Now we have talked about the CPU, it would be a good time to talk about primary storage and RAM, which is the other essential piece of a computer. Primary storage. Primary storage is where the computer keeps data that it needs to access quickly. It's much faster than other types of storage, but it usually holds less data and is only temporary. The most well-known type of primary storage is random access memory, RAM. When you open a program or file, it's loaded into RAM so that the CPU can access it quickly. However, RAM is volatile, which means it loses all its data when the computer is turned off. Apart from RAM, there are other types of primary storage that play a crucial role in helping the CPU work efficiently. Cache. Cache is a small, very fast type of memory that is located inside or very close to the CPU. It stores copies of frequently used data and instructions so that the CPU doesn't have to fetch them from the slower RAM every time. By keeping this important information close by, cache helps speed up the overall performance of the computer. Registers, as mentioned earlier, registers are tiny storage locations within the CPU itself. They hold data temporarily while the CPU processes it. Since registers are the fastest type of memory, they are crucial for the CPU's immediate operations. Together, these different types of primary storage ensure that the CPU has quick access to the data and instructions it needs to perform tasks efficiently. While they all serve the same general purpose, providing fast, temporary storage, they each do so in a slightly different way, with registers being the fastest, followed by cache, and then RAM. Other components. Beyond the CPU and primary storage, most computers also have additional components that help them perform a wider range of tasks. Secondary storage, this is where data is stored long-term. Unlike primary storage, secondary storage, like hard drives or SSDs, keeps your files and programs safe even when the power is off. Communication devices, these components allow the computer to connect to other devices or networks. For instance, a Wi-Fi card or an Ethernet port helps your computer access the internet. Input devices, these are how you, the user, give information to the computer. Keyboards, mice, and touchscreens are all examples of input devices. Output devices, these let the computer communicate information back to you. Monitors, printers, and speakers are common output devices. Together, all these components work in harmony to make a computer function. By understanding what each part does, you can start to see just how complex and amazing computers really are. And that's it. If you enjoyed the podcast, please do not forget to like and subscribe, as it really helps the channel grow. Until next time. Goodbye.